What's going on, home slice?
Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Anime4All podcast. I mentioned I was going to start having the stream go on for 30 or so minutes till you're ready. Just thought
Man,
I
I'd
just thought
be
I
lucky
warned
if
you.
I could stream for like 2.5 minutes.
Hmm?
How much water did you drink?
How much what did I drink?
Water.
None. It's only been live for 23 minutes.
I couldn't stream. I couldn't stream for more than like 2.5 minutes before my bladder would just be empty.
I did that before I started.
What?
I did that before I started.
And then how are you going for half an hour?
I just had music playing in the background. I've just been sitting here, my eyes closed. Is that
Just peeing for half an hour?
no, Jock? Why? Why?
You said you've been streaming for half an hour.
What's the guy do with my bladder?
You've been peeing for half an hour.
No, I haven't. Like I said, I emptied my bladder before the stream.
How do you empty your bladder before you pee?
Okay, everybody, well, welcome to the next episode of Anime4All podcast. We have actually caught up. These two episodes are the most recent episodes that got released. As before Jock got here, I actually was going through some of his notes. I see there's a lot of confusion, and I pulled up some things. One of them being a reference that I don't know if is even true or not. I have my own theory, but I guess we'll get to that when it's relevant. But I did notice there was some confusion in your notes, so I just thought I'd pull some stuff up to clarify a couple of things, and I guess we'll get those clarifications when we get to them. I guess before it, how's your last week been? Since I guess we're doing this. Hello?
Hi.
I mean, you can talk now. I thought my internet was cutting out again. I was like, oh, don't tell me we're doing this again.
I thought you were mad at me.
Dang it, Jock. Why? Just why?
My week was fine, but it's only Tuesday, my guy.
No, it's not.
Today is Tuesday.
No, it's not.
What is it?
Monday.
No. Okay, today is Monday.
Are you drunk?
Apparently. But if today's Monday and you say, how was your week?
How was your last week?
Because, like, every week has 7 days. See how many we can say.
I said,
7
how
minus
was your
7 days.
last week? I didn't say how was your week. How was your last week?
I don't know. Am I going to die this week? Otherwise, it's not my last week.
You know what? We're just gonna move on.
Last week was fine.
I'm gonna give myself an
I spent
aneurysm.
last week doing a ton of work. And spending a lot of time with Grayson. We went we went out and we went to a trampoline park together, and I dragged everybody, including Morgan and Harper and Landon, her kids, which are Grayson's like favorite people in the world, and I made them all go out with me to try Ethiopian food. And that's not a joke.
Why would you do that?
Why would I do that?
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
Why would you force people to go eat something they probably didn't want to eat?
And try something new. Ethiopian food's really cool. It's like the halfway point between Mexican food and Indian food.
Guess you're on the toilet all week.
No, not really. It's like they have this big thing that's like, picture like a pizza dish, kind of like a round pizza dish, and they have this thing they spread across it that's like almost like a tortilla, but it's kind of spongy. And then they dab on piles of different things, and some of them kind of look like, a lot of them kind of look like chili. and some of them are kind of green and like full of lentil and stuff like that. And there are all these different things, and there's no utensils, like no forks, spoons, chopsticks, none of that. And they give you rolls of extra bread stuff, and you rip pieces off, and you use that as your utensil, and you reach down with the bread stuff, and you scoop it up, and you eat everything with your hands.
What if you don't want to eat with your hands? What do you want to eat with your feet?
That would be an interesting challenge. If you were able to do that, it would be quite a feat.
I blame myself for that one. I blame myself for that one.
You have to blame yourself for that one. It was definitely your fault.
You didn't have to take it. You could have just let it sit there.
You know, I had to take that one.
You really didn't.
They don't let you keep your dad license if you don't take that one.
You have a dad license? I know you have a kid, but still,
you lose your dad card if you don't take a joke like that.
That's horrible.
You're not allowed to be a dad and make dad jokes anymore if you pass up something like that.
Does your kid just suddenly stop existing?
This will be recorded on the internet. Like, sooner or later, somebody would find out that I passed up that dad joke, and that would be all over.
Did your kid just stop existing at that point? Or
no, I can still have a kid. I'm just no longer a dad.
the more I did need to know with Jock. Okay, I guess. I mean, my week's been going good. Not much to report. Things are still the same. Looking for employment. Okay. I guess enough of that.
What
Not much.
the analytics?
Nothing. For whatever reason, the analytics are not as like up to date as RSS was.
What about our guy in Germany?
Well, we have an audience in Germany for sure. But which is odd, but
It's me.
using that VPN stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the most plays we've ever had on an episode is the episode titled Revenge. I don't know what we talked about in that podcast episode because it's been a while.
Do you have any viewers in Ukraine?
I looked down and almost thought I saw the Ukraine, but I just saw United Kingdom.
Russia?
Please don't.
I'm just asking.
No, I mean United Kingdom, Brazil, Canada. We have 50% of our viewership coming from Germany. Specifically, 88% from Hesse.
What's that?
I have no idea. 13% of that coming from North Rhine-Westphalia. I'm butchering these names.
I believe you.
It looks like a good deal of people are viewing or listening to us through a web browser. And then 19% is using other. I don't know what other is.
Probably PlayStation. They're just all listening to us through their PlayStation.
For the most part, our viewership is like ages of 28 to 34. Again, apparently most of the viewers are female.
Nice. Hi, babies.
I don't know how true that is.
Oh, it's definitely true. Between you being black and my sexy voice.
Okay, moving on before we get taken down for TOS. I don't know how against terms of service that is. I don't want to take chances. Social justice warriors and everything. Okay, okay, so we're here to review episodes Shaman King 43, 44. As I said before, we are actually very caught up. It's actually amazing. I'm actually very surprised how caught up we are. But
We're actually all the way caught up.
yeah, we've actually got up to the area. I think it's like I don't know how many episodes are left, but we are now like on the precipice of being caught up with everybody else. Well, not precipice. We're actually there. But episode 43, reviewing the end of a dream. I think we made a joke that this is not bode well for our heroes. Uh,
Mhm.
so let's see. Anna, the synopsis we got here is Anna confronts Hal while Faust revives Yo. June also reveals that she worked with Sati to revive her brother alongside Horo and Chocolove. While Lyser remains in hell facing his inner demons, or inner darkness, Peyote then starts a massacre with in-house soldiers taking his own life in the process as Manta's bodyguard reveals himself to be searching for the Great Spirits. I read that, did not know that guy was supposed to be Manta's bodyguard. Uh, I actually was doing something else while I was like watching it, and I kind of like stopped paying attention for a minute, and it came back, and there was something a butler and Peyote was killing people. Uh, so that's a pretty interesting little synopsis there. I did not know that was happening. I did not know that was Manta's
Manta's
bodyguard.
such Manta's the most irrelevant character in the entire series by far.
I feel like he'll be more relevant at some point. I feel like, for whatever reason, if Manta's family is involved in this for some reason, then he's supposed to be important for something. Whatever he's important for, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, probably won't know until like when it become relevant. But I guess we'll begin with pretty much. Oh yeah, Hal shows up and is kicking everybody's behind. Apparently kicking Marco's behind so much that Marco ends up leaving Tomo with his car. Uh, you make a remark here saying what it's like he's giving it to her as he dies. Which, I mean, I thought that's what was going on. I think he was dying there.
I have a tough time understanding it because that's the impression I got, that he was dying or something. But like, is that what was going on? He was actually dying.
Either he was dying or he was gonna die because Hal had his foot on his neck. Either or, death was supposed to be. I guess what was taken from that. I guess I have no idea. That's what I
Yeah.
thought he was doing, because I mean the whole idea was that he was having her take the bodies inside of his car out of there. Hal wasn't letting it happen though. Um, we also learned that apparently that style language. I find it kind of funny because I was kind of thinking this, but I didn't bring this up before. That's a satellite in the middle of the space that like if I remember correctly, I think that's the satellite that I think certain countries share. So the fact that it fired on a place in Japan probably is a
The International Space Station. Do you think that's the International Space Station? It didn't
it's
look like it to me.
it could have been. I mean, there's a lot of satellites we have floating around space right now. It could have been any number of them, but I feel like considering that it was a national incident, it had to be an important satellite to shoot down on Earth for it to cause foreign countries to get involved.
Yeah.
It couldn't just been a normal satellite. Thinking a normal satellite couldn't shoot fire, but whatever. I took it as it must have been an important satellite for it to cause a national incident. So like maybe it wasn't the International Space Station, um, but it was something. I don't think it was a Russian. It was the Russian United States spacecraft, but it had been something. Because I don't think a normal satellite maybe doing that would cause that much of a panic. Maybe a country or two would look into it, but I don't think it would cause the entire world to become concerned. Oh, hey, Red Avenger. I was here for like 30 minutes and nobody showed. Uh,
Oh no.
um, let's see here. As speaking of the national incident, a lot of apparently Howard says that because of that, there's gonna be foreign leaders from everywhere coming down to this tiny little island to figure out why a satellite fired on it. Hal mentions that um he's not gonna let anybody in. Initially, I thought he meant that he was gonna put a force field on it, but I'm guessing later we see that he's gonna send his minions to go and deal with that. We all know how that ends. Uh, the episode starts at 2:42. Uh, I'm glad we came to the same conclusion that it looks like the round two is supposed to be in the underwater temple, but I don't know if that's the case because at the end of 44, it didn't look like they were underwater, did it?
It did look like no, it didn't look like they were underwater at the end of 44, but like they were definitely in like I thought that was maybe Atlantis or something, or maybe a Mayan temple since the Mayan temples like disappeared mysteriously. So I thought maybe this is like where the Mayans went or something.
So you think there's just some like something just magical happening there, preventing the water from encapsulating the entire thing, or spiritual in this case.
Well, if it was Atlantis, that would just be like classic. You know what I mean? Atlantis underwater, blah blah blah.
I guess I wasn't paying much
Uh,
attention to the entire area though. I mean, I guess we'll have to look at that
the
later.
Mayan temple, yeah, Mayan temple would better fit the whole like motif of like the Native American stuff going on since the Mayans were Native American.
Oh, that's right, they were. Wow. Speaking of Native American, the patch. Well, we cut away to the patch as they're walking towards the Great Spirit. And they mention that their job is to protect the Shaman King, who we all keep on hearing the name uttered. It's going to be How. Um, they all, like, I guess, mention what they're going to need to do, and the leader mentions something to Silva, saying, "You know what that means." And all Silva does is make a fist in front of his face, again with that dark look in his eye. I had no idea what happened to him. It's a complete character reversal for him. I'm noticing. Uh, he used to be goofy. Pretty much didn't look like he looked more like an idiot. He's looking more composed and know what he's doing. Though I'm concerned because, like as I said before, that intro has him like towering over Yo and the gang. So maybe all of this really is he's taking the responsibility of being the villain here. I'm guessing to stop them from defeating How, which I don't know
That
how
he's
that's going
taking
to
the
end.
place of the villain.
I mean, like when How becomes Shaman King, which keeps on being uttered. I'm guessing the Patch Tribe are supposed to be the temporary villain in place of How while How was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because we keep on hearing that the Patch is going to be the one guarding How. So essentially, that makes them the villain, but only like a in place villain. The force they have to stop in order to take down How. And
Gotcha.
it, like in the weirdest way, they're just a temporary villain, not really a true villain. Um, at least that's what I think is like. What I guess how you could take what's going on here, because like Silva's been looking menacing ever since he got put in jail for reasons unknown to me. And then we cut back to How and Anna, who are having a little conversation. Um, Here, your notes where you say honest Ryoko is being neutralized by How because she handles his Zenki and Goku as so well. I see you said I think there's different energies at play. I don't think so. Those names, I even looked this up just to be sure. Those names, Zenki and Goki transfer to front ogre and rear ogre, and they're referring to the Shikigami that she's using that were originally his. Furyoku is just the thing that's being used there to like control them, and she's just using a lot of
Because
she's using a lot of energy. She's using a lot of that energy to control them, and it's being
I see what you mean.
neutralized.
And that's why he says that he's got one left.
Yes.
In other words, the one she didn't control. That makes a lot more
Well, the one he
sense.
didn't
Okay.
shatter and eat.
Right.
Hey, you're welcome to Lurk, Caxips06. We're talking about Shaman King here. Uh, yeah, I wanted to look it up to be sure. I wasn't. I looked it up mainly just because okay, maybe I misunderstood something, and I looked it up to make sure what Zenki and Goku were, and Shaman King wiki popped up, and that's what I got. I thought they were referring to the ogres, but I just wanted to make sure since you wrote that in there, wondering if that was what that meant. That's the only reason
Okay.
I.
Look,
Hmm?
I meant to look that up and I didn't. And I'm really glad you looked it up because that's super interesting.
Yeah, but it's just talking about the Shikigami that she's using that she has control over now.
I'm so curious about why they like get so deep into that. You know what I mean? That they constantly talk about like that they're constantly using different words to represent that. So
Well, I mean, the problem here is that because spiritual energy, depending on the depending on the anime and the creator, and this one does a really bad job of it. Spiritual energy gets called so many different things that you would think there's different energy in the show. Um, but it's Furyoku and it's always been Furyoku, but it can be translated to mana, it can be translated to all kinds of stuff. I don't even know what the real term, I guess you would say, the energy would be, and why it probably would explain why there's so many different ways to call it a different type of energy. Because in most anime, you only have an energy source that gets called one name and one name only. If there is another energy, they let you know there's another energy involved, but um, here is just spiritual energy, and they keep calling it different names.
Is it possibly connected to? Um, Sorry, is it possibly connected to like the culture that it's coming from? Is that too much of a stretch?
You mean the name change? I'm pretty sure it has something to do with that. Because I've never heard of Furyoku until this show. And haven't seen the name used anywhere else in anything I've ever watched, from this show.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure whatever it is, it probably is an all-around energy. Like if they probably looked it up, and maybe we could look it up now to see if Furyoku actually has a literal translation or something. Da, 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 da. And here apparently Furyoku translates to shamanic power, and maybe that's why. And it's apparently called manga. It's called mana in the English version. So like the fan translations are probably taking that literally and just taking it in as like maybe they're when they're translating the word to be mana. Because if you actually listen to them in the sub, you do hear them say Furioka a lot.
Yeah, it's just weird that they keep going back and forth with it because like this fan translation is what we're pretty much following through the
What's a
entire
fan
thing. So
translation for for a reason? I mean, mana is apparently used in the English manga. That's what I'm reading here.
yeah.
So, um, I'm guessing that's why mana is showing up in the subs because the people who are translating it must have English as a first language. But I'm also willing to bet that maybe the people who are translating are actually people who speak Japanese and they probably have a little bit of understanding of how English works.
Mhm.
So maybe that's what's happening there. Ultimately, it might just be that. Um, See here, Furyoku, multiversal omnipedia. Furyoku was the energy of a shaman, allowing him to create and maintain their oversoul, which depends on how much Furyoku a shaman has to employ. The power for Yoku, reflection of soul, was the reflection of a soul of a shaman. Measure the sixth sense. Uh, and the funny thing is, the only time it's ever appeared, the name is in Shaman King, so it doesn't show up anywhere else. So it's specifically to the show that name they're using here. Um, though I will say there's another name I'm noticing here too. I don't know if it has anything to do with Furyoku. Wait, see here, Moche, a guardian spirit, a guardian ghost, or the spirits. Okay, that's just the name of the guardian spirit. Here it is. Rare Yoku is a term used to determine spiritual power or strength that a ghost possess.
That's interesting.
Okay, I saw this name, I saw this word, but I honestly thought it was just interconnected. I thought it was just interconnected with Ryoku, which I guess in reality it is, but it's not Shaman's ability, it's the ghost's ability. So this is probably what determines how powerful a ghost is. Oh, and that explains the whole, like, if a ghost is stronger than you shouldn't try to make an oversoul with it because it might kill you. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I was always wondering, but how do you know if a ghost is stronger than you? Like, there doesn't appear to be a way to do that. Okay, so there was I guess I just missed it apparently. Um,
How do you tell?
Their Rei Yoku level. I'm guessing it's the way to measure it. I don't know how you measure it, but Rei Yoku is the ghost power level. It's the energy it's the energy that the ghost has.
Okay.
Um, then we have Manjian, whatever the heck this is, Mantanian dictionary, an English version. What? of all human knowledge that Manta frequently consults to find information on people. Okay, so this is just the name for the book that Manta's using. Okay,
The Book of Manta. Yes.
essentially. Um, then we got
Use
then we got
Manta.
Seireii class, which okay, this is just talking about the class of spirits. Seireii class, sacred souls in English, are nature spirits. Is a classification for spirits who have existed for 500 years or more and whose soul has shed their physical attachment to achieve their purest form. Sacred or higher spirits. So I guess this is like what, like the spirit that Hora uses. After this ascending, the spirit does not have to become stronger since this is the highest form of power. Only the shaman has to train and grow stronger. That doesn't seem right. Wait. Kame class is the classification of most powerful ghosts in Shaman King. 16 are known to exist at this time. The Great Spirit, Spirit of Fire, Spirit of Earth, Spirit of Rain, Spirit of Wind, Spirit of Thunder, Big Chief, excuse me?
I'm just called Big Chief.
Shamash, Dianchi Norai, Jizo Norai, Boto Norai, Fudo Muya. I'm butchering all these names. Hi XOG, we'll get to that in a minute. Gundari Muyo, Aizen Muyo, Asura, and Dai Tango. These ghosts have a near bottomless power and can grow stronger by eating others' ghosts. Oh, wait a minute, so eating ghosts isn't just relegated to the spirit of fire? Ew, that's interesting. I thought that was just something specific to him. The problem is that these ghosts require a lot of Furyoka to keep themselves going. The shaman who controls one of these must be incredibly strong and be extremely cautious around them since they will eat any spirit that comes in their way.
Sounds like a bad time.
Okay, what I'm seeing also here is just other names for different things that we have been seeing. So there's Oversoul, Medium, Patch, Jinxi. Yeah, it was what June was using. Okay, so that's about it. I guess we can. I'll keep that there in case we need to consult the Wikipedia again.
Sorry, it's a dry well. It just sounded like there was got to be something to it.
No, it's no problem. I just I had to figure it out myself. I had to figure it out myself, so I don't sound stupid trying to, I guess, say that maybe I'm misinterpreting, but like maybe I'm misinterpreting. Let's see here. The whole situation with Anna and Hal was actually kind of interesting. With the way Hal was talking to her and how Anna was, snapping back at him, saying, "Stop referring
I
to
didn't
me so
understand why he
familiar."
kept talking to her like it was his wife.
Well, my theory, and I thought about this when it happened, because I was like, is it possible that Anna might just be a reincarnation of somebody from his past? Because reincarnation wouldn't be too far of a stretch to happen in this show because of the whole spiritualism thing. Some
Right.
Japanese religions believe in reincarnation. Shoot, there's an entire like myth about like when you die, you go into a wheel and come out the other side as a different thing. So
Makes
no,
sense, except he's definitely intrigued by her like ability. Like it's something that's a little bit beyond his ability to like handle.
I mean she
Like
could
he's like,
maybe
why are
be
you?
a descendant, considering that she's supposed to have the same ability as he is, being able to read people's minds and hearts and whatnot.
Yeah,
Though she said
but
that she
he's like,
lost
why
it.
are you? He's got a lot of situations where like, why are you able to even do this? Like it's bothering, it's rattling him that like she's able to do this in the first place.
I don't know. Like I said, I mean, like I said before, it's possible that she could be somebody that was reincarnated from maybe his family tree, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe from his mother's family tree. Considering that we did see that his mother, we didn't see a face when we saw his mother for the very first time. Um, it is quite possible that maybe she reminds him of his mother, or something else is going on there. Because I mean, he does like honest is to stop referring to me so formally. Um, it's kind of not thinking about too. He never did. Whenever he does say Anna, he never says San or Chan. He always just says straight up her name, and there's no like, there's no there's no what's
It
the word?
deeply gets under her nerves.
Yeah, who knows? I
You
mean,
refer to me so casually, you know.
yeah, there's like something going on. You know, he doesn't use the honorific. Yes, that's the word. He never uses the honorific when talking to her.
Yeah.
So maybe it's
It's like I'm
like
not your friend.
maybe she doesn't know it yet. I mean, it's another thing too is like Anna. The one of the few things he said about Anna back in her past when she first showed up out of nowhere is the fact that she had an unusually high amount of spiritual energy anyway
Yeah.
uh for somebody I guess doing what they're trying to do there, which is I forgot what she was doing there. So she had a very an ordinary and this astounding amount of energy to begin with. So maybe it has the fact that like maybe she has some connection to Hal, you know, like that she doesn't know about yet. Because I will
Yeah.
say it is kind of weird that she was able to completely take over and control his Shikigami. Because I was reading about them too. They are apparently really loyal to him, extremely loyal. They would have killed just about anything that got in his way. But they apparently lost their consciousness there when she took over. So I don't know what's going on there. They seem just as loyal to her as they were to him. But
She has a very similar power though. Like he can't even read her. He's like she's such a foil to him. Like she was able to neutralize his energy. She was able to I don't know, she just threw him off guard. Like he came out and he didn't expect her to be able to like do most of the stuff she was doing against him.
well, I mean, he straight up got slapped by her in their first encounter, and he was shocked by that. So I mean, I don't know why he's shocked by this. I mean, I'm pretty sure I thought the whole like her slapping him was a gag, but maybe there was something more
Yeah.
to that slap than we initially thought.
But at the same time, he seemed like he was toying with her all along because when he pulled out his big gun, like it seemed pretty clear that she didn't really have a chance. Like when he pulled out the big one, she was just like you could see the look on her face, like she was defeated.
When he put out the big one, you saw the look at her face, so out of context.
Oh my gosh, Jeremy.
I'm sorry, you the one to set that one up.
You need to call somebody, Jeremy.
Where's this
You
gonna
need to
go?
get you need to get some help.
No one on this fight could help me. Okay, enough of the self-deprecation. While all this is happening, we cut away to Lasser. Well, we cut away to Rin beating some ghost up. We also see Yo beating some ghost up. But the thing I want to bring attention to is Lasser. When Lasser first died, we saw him like wondering where the heck he was, and I think he has hand cut off before he cut away from him, and never saw him again for a good couple, like several minutes in the last episode. We see here that Lasser's having a . Time with
Everything.
well, yeah. And then
Breathing.
but then we cut away from that. Apparently, after this demon's chasing him, we cut back to Yo defeating a demon, and pretty much saying that I'm gonna go to see the boss now. Yo's defeated apparently what appears to be like 10 demons at this point. It's an astounding amount of number of demons he's defeated in this training area. And managed to apparently have his predecessor with him as well.
He seems like he just kind of pretty chilled about it though. Like it didn't seem like it was especially hard for him. He's just
One of
like,
the
yeah,
things, I mean, one of the things he said though is, I mean, he's not exceptionally strong. He's just not gonna fight with hate in his heart. And then we cut away to Lyser again.
speaking of hate,
It's like, geez, like there's some we're getting, are we getting some messages here?
definitely some pretty mixed messages going on.
Lyser is like still having trouble. He's like Chocolat told him how to regain his physical limbs, but he still couldn't do it. And apparently, what we're learning here is that Lyser when he keeps thinking about his parents, he thinks about how much he hates Hal. Then he realizes like that probably is what's keeping him where he is right now, is why he can't get any stronger. It's just sounds like he's getting it, but he doesn't know how to put it into practice. Um, is what I'm picking up from there. Like he knows what to do, he just can't do it.
Because, well, first of all, partially because he's fighting himself, so he's not whole. So I felt like that's sort of a manifestation. Like, how can you be whole if how can you make your body whole if your spirit isn't half? So he's got a wounded spirit, but like his body itself is like is cut in half as well in a way. So like it made sense that like he can't pull himself together if he can't literally pull himself together. It fits in the kind of the riddle style of Japan stuff, doesn't it?
I guess.
You guess. It's fantastic. It's the most brilliant thing you've ever heard.
What was it? I lost my train of thought with that.
I was saying that Lyserg, the demon, green
No,
demon
I
thing that
get
he's
it.
fighting.
I get. I was trying to say something. I guess to come up. I was like to rattle off of that, but I completely lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, it's no problem. Um, Maybe it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I was thinking maybe does he have to hug him? I have no idea at that point. I mean, if that's what he's got to do, why did I forgot his name. Like Chocolo's friend, why did he give him his spirits if all he had to do was hug him?
What do you mean by hug?
Go up to him and actually physically give the demon a hug. If you know, if since it is just him, if it is just all his hatred and his anger, all in one form. Looking usually in any anime that I've seen, when it comes to dispersing hate, usually the person has to realize that he is angry, and
Mm-hmm.
usually what it usually ends up doing is like they go up to the thing and hug him, and that says I'm willing to let you go, type of
Just
situation
kind of getting like a Care Bear stare. Is that what you're suggesting?
or something.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those. It's kind of like what like Yoan was trying to do with Hal at the coffee, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Just have coffee with his other evil half.
I mean, yeah, I mean it's kind of what was going on there with Yo and Hal, but we'll get to that in an actual minute.
He's
Because
like,
I
"Do
do
you want
read
to
your
go to
I do I
Starbucks?"
I do read your notes, and I was having the exact same like concerns and confusion there. I was like, "Are you serious?" We cut away from a epic fight, and you go drink coffee with the man.
And now they're having coffee. Yeah.
uh, um, yeah, Les was having a hard time. You say some Egyptian-looking dude is watching angrily, and you wonder who it was. It's Chocolo's like spirit dude, the second spirit that he had, because he literally turns into a human in the spirit world when he's with Chocolo. That was who that was.
Really?
That was him, yes.
Okay. I
Because
didn't pick up on that at all.
he's been helping everybody else. He even mentioned
Okay.
he can't go help Lasser because of something going on there with his hatred. Even though he completely goes against that with to go help him anyway. I have no idea what's going on there.
This is so sad and confusing.
Things are kind of going really fast and like I guess like pacing has
It
picked up.
really has. The anime's picking up. Like you can tell that we're getting towards the end of the anime. Like it's really, the pace has really kicked up a lot. Like they really they casually like knocked out so many characters.
Then as we go further in the episode past the whole Hal can't see Anna's heart, we find out that the five.
No, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but I mean like the characters you're
The
talking about like
suicide attack just wiped out a crap ton.
yeah, I mean
The,
we don't like we're not at that point though yet. That's what I was kind of continuing.
but I mean, well, then there was the attack from last time too, which was a suicide attack. When like all those characters from the X-Laws went and attacked Hao, and Hao just wiped out like the entire X-Laws team. The one before that, like the entire all the ice-based heroes like got wiped out.
Oh, I thought Horror saved them.
He saved a lot, yeah, he saved them, but like then the Hao's like entire football team set got wiped out. It's just like we're seeing whole like character sets just murdered, like massacred almost every single episode that they've been set up for, and it's just like it's like you can almost not keep track of the characters. Like I'm really proud of myself for like keeping track of characters because I'm not good at it. But then like as soon as like I start feeling like I know the characters, like they wipe out whole categories of them, and it's starting to get like there's this feeling of like churn. Like you're just like holy crap! Like there's a whole other set that have just been wiped out. Sometimes they barely introduce them before they get wiped out, but like then there's that other feeling of churn where you're just like Jesus, like what did I do? You know?
I mean, yeah, things are getting wiped out. I just kind of accepted it.
Yeah, I suppose.
What do you mean supposed? You kind of had to accept it. I mean, they're just. I mean, they're just gone. Well, some of them are. Some of them still remain because of unfinished business. Uh,
It just seems like a lot of nonsense. Like it's just like oh, and then like when some of these guys get wiped out, it almost doesn't mean anything. It happens so fast now. You're just like, when did that happen? You
I mean,
don't think so?
it probably has something to do with the animators, because I mean, I know sometimes they take liberties when they animate from the manga.
Yeah. I just feel like a lot of characters in English are just becoming throwaway.
I've just accepted. I mean, I've seen a lot of animes where they're getting close to the end versus like letting them just be like outliers. They just try to kill them. Is it the right way to deal with the character over characters that you introduced? Not really, but a lot of times either they fade into the background like characters from Naruto do, and it just becomes the main character show, or even like
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z. A lot of characters fade into the background. Like some characters like Piccolo took way longer to fade into the background. It was actually impressive.
The problem with Piccolo is like he's too smart to fade completely into the background. Like you can't completely write him off because he's too useful. He's got weird powers. He's got utility. Like it's been a little too hard to completely write him off.
Again, it's impressive.
Yeah, that's kind of impressive, I guess.
I know you want him to
I
be
don't
more
think
useful.
he
I'm
got
just saying
ri-
it's
I
just
don't think he got written into the background the same way that some of the other ones have. Is basically what I'm saying.
well, some are less impressive, like Yamcha. uh,
That's what I mean. There's a lot of characters that don't have especially useful. Like Piccolo is both a plot device role and a fighter. And when it comes to a fighter, he's the most powerful of the unrelevant like fighters. And when it comes to, but he also has a story role. Like he's one of the lowest level Kai, so he has like low level Kai knowledge. He's a Namekian, so he has Namekian knowledge. He finds ways to be relevant in almost every situation. So when you know Piccolo is on the scene, like you know something's going to happen that makes him factor in something, or you think he probably will. You can't exactly say that about some of the other characters, like Yamcha, Krillin, Tien. I mean, Krillin is clever too. Like he has a lot of powers and he's really good as a strategist. But Tien comes in and has like one big scene, and then he's there to like die and show off how powerful like the real enemies are. For example.
that's more Yamcha's job. They don't really use Krillin. They don't really use Krillin or Yamcha to show off how powerful the enemy is. I mean, they kind of use Krillin with Frieza, but Krillin was just
Imperfect
kind of
Cell.
there.
Imperfect Cell, Frieza are both times when Tien got shown off.
I mean, I never saw those as situations where they're just showing how powerful the character was. I don't even think Tien even fought Frieza.
Who?
I don't think
Tien?
I don't think Tien ever fought Frieza.
He fought the Ginyu Force though.
But that wasn't really canon to my knowledge. I know what you're referring to, but I don't think that was ever officially called. That actually happened.
Oh really?
Yeah, because one of the funny things about Cell is we all know apparently Cell has some of Krillin's DNA in him, but actually that didn't actually happen in the canon. Like there's so much stuff going on. That's why like nobody knows what's truly canon and what's not, because like Cell has shown that he can do the Destructo Disc, which is like what it is like Krillin's claim to fame is what this one attack that he's shown that he can make that actually can hurt an enemy. Unfortunately, that got nullified with Cell's neck.
Cell's neck, yes.
That's really what that was.
Versus Cell's neck. Bye, Cell.
I mean, the one time he used it, it didn't work. It's like,
oh crap!
the one time he used it, it didn't work, and I'm like,
By
He
Corona.
had the one attack that could hurt a really powerful villain, only to find out that apparently the neck is the ultimate weapon of destruction.
Krillin was just not worth anything to sell.
I mean, apparently he's supposed to have some, and apparently Frieza's DNA isn't supposed to be in there either. I don't really know. It's just one of those things. It feels like I said, it's the whole animators taking liberties in the animation,
Yeah.
which is probably a whole separate debate for a different day if we ever decide to have it. Um, should animators be allowed to have liberty? I think sometimes they should. It makes things interesting. Because sometimes, unfortunately, some scenes that the original creators have in mind probably aren't executed the best way possible. But yeah. Um, you see the corpses of the five warriors being brought back to Faust. We also find out that Faust indeed can revive people. I think only 2 times a day. I'm guessing, or
It
two
looks
two
like
times
unless
period.
Faust was already tired, I wouldn't give. I would say he taps out at 3 maximum, but it looks like at least he can do a bare minimum twice.
I don't know if it's 2 times altogether or just 2 times like a day. Because I was very confused by his limitation there. Because
I
he did
was
say that.
confused.
Hmm?
I was confused too, but I do think that did he do any fighting before that moment? That's what I need to know.
Um, not to my knowledge.
Like, did he
But then
just
again,
use any
Faust has
for
been in a
Yuku
chair.
up to that point, or was he just kind of chilling? Because if he used any for Yuku and then like
Well, he was
had
in a
exhausted
fight before,
himself,
but that was like episodes ago. I don't think he's been involved in any fighting recently.
okay. I was gonna say if he'd used any up to that point, then maybe he could have like justified like
Maybe he did. I don't even
been
remember.
a little bit tired,
I don't
but
remember him being
otherwise,
involved in any real fight. If I'm being honest. I think I remember him showing up after after someone got killed. I forgot. Oh, after Yo got killed. I feel like
mm-hmm.
um as for him getting involved in anything, I don't really remember. Because keep in mind, he's also keeping Frankenweenie alive too with his own Furyoku. So I mean, like maybe there's some maybe because of that he's like maybe there's a limit because he's keeping a dog alive. Um, he see Faust brings some people back, and then Yo actually comes back, but it isn't because I don't think Faust brings it back. I think just Yo came back normally because they mentioned that he came back from hell. Like he came back, so it's not like he just got back up normally.
He kind of like he's like, show me the leader of hell, and they're like, the leader of hell? That sounds pretty impressive, and he's like, yeah, it is. And then they just kind of like, man, he's alive. And
And then
no
he's
one knows
alive.
what happened with the leader of hell, but apparently it was a big deal because it was like, I'm back, bitches, and that's all we know.
It's like, you just give me the leader of hell, and then he's suddenly back alive.
Yeah, that's exactly what went down.
No, I'm just laughing because of how just how dry that was. But I mean, you're right. I mean, he's suddenly back, and there's no explanation. He doesn't even. I mean, it's the way they made it seem like he just got to the end of this training and got out. It's
Yeah, the
basically
anime doesn't even. That just happens off screen, like mysteriously off screen. He like leveled up, and then that was it. And then he's back, and now he's in some indeterminate amount of powerful. And I put in my notes. I said it reminded me of like when Goku came back from um training on Kami's Lookout, and everybody's like, "Oh wow, he's super powerful now," and they were all like in awe of him. But nobody really has a clear idea of how much more powerful he is. They're just all looking at him and like, his energy is so peaceful, and you know, everybody wants to bone him. He's a big deal now. And
okay. You bring
what
up here
else have you
also that
watched?
apparently in Eliza is like the blonde woman in red. Apparently, Faust says there's a microwave. I didn't see the microwave. I saw
You didn't
this.
see the microwave? Well, look at the freeze. It's in the top left-hand corner. What's the time signature for the microwave? 12:18. I am like immaculate now with my time signatures.
Gotta let watch cartoons load the episode real quick because it wants to be a dick. Hold up. Let me just refresh the page.
I'm loading it right now, so I'll probably have it up before you do at this point.
Oh, no. Okay, 1218.
Yeah. I always thought it was very like sorted, like all the random crap that she's like suddenly wielding in that shot. Chiluni is like before the commercial break.
Oh,
And then
wow.
after the commercial
There's
break,
what appears to be a microwave.
it looks like a microwave, and then there's like a martini glass or a wine glass, and then there's scissors, and then what looks like it's possibly a telephone on the top right, or a blow dryer.
That could
Like,
just
what
be a
would you call
movie
that?
reel thing.
Is that I don't know if that's a movie reel. That looks like. And the bottom left is like possibly like a hair crimper. Like if you extend it to what's on the right of her. I don't know. Or a high heel.
Could be a stapler. She could be an iron. I didn't notice that. I really didn't. So that mean that
The
was
microwave
that.
was what took me over the top. I'm like, is she really like fighting with a microwave?
Listen, you gotta heat your burrito somehow.
I guess so.
Um,
That's when you know when you're fighting with big guns, when you whip out the microwave. That's all I'm saying.
I guess I skipped over. Apparently, Sati gets brought back. I think actually, I guess Sati was brought back by Faust, and then Sati brings back Iron Maiden, and Iron Maiden is gonna be bringing back her with Iron Maiden is gonna be bringing back everybody. So the Gandhara team is, as you say, happy. We also find out that apparently Ren, Chocolove, and Horo came back. I guess they came back all at the same time because I think they got killed all at the same time. So they're suddenly
Iron Maiden
back.
seems like somewhat reasonable. Like as idealist as the rest of the group is, like Iron Maiden always seems to be like willing to get along with people in the end.
Well, she doesn't think she's all that special anymore, so I don't think that.
But even in the beginning, like even before, she was like, "Everybody chill, like we're gonna like make this work."
And that's true. Oh yeah, at 13, 18. I will say before I let Jock take the floor here, because I know he's got a lot to say. I was laughing so hardcore when I saw the Lego Man again. I was like, I know Jock is just losing his mind right now.
Why can't they just relax and have like a normal anime? Why do they have to do crap like that? Can't we just have like a regular anime? Like, do they have to have like Legos? Like, who thought this series is having too much serious time? Like, we've gone 10 seconds here without like a warrior who uses a microwave oven as their main weapon, a guy that looks strikingly like Dhalsim from Street Fighter, or like some other ridiculous silly thing, or like somebody like that fights with like the power of their belly button in Africa or whatever the hell that was. Like, why do we need to just throw in little Legos all over the freaking place? And like, they just do it. Like, they can't like let the Lego go ever.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
Stop.
just.
Don't laugh at me. It's serious.
I'm not. Oh, I know it's serious.
Serious ass shit.
I know it's serious.
Look at me, I was stupid ass anime. I'm gonna put some Lego Man in there. I'm a Lego maniac.
This guy is having a conniption fit over some Legos.
Zach, the Lego maniac.
I was just laughing so hard when I saw it. I was glad. I know Jock is just losing his mind right now because like he's all over the screen now.
It made me a very grumpy man.
I did. I liked the dragon thing he was running on.
The what?
He was on a flying lizard thing imaging that he made out of Legos.
Who cares?
I thought it was cool.
With Legos. Why?
Because he has a connection with the Legos and he puts the spirits in there. It's like fighting with a blender. Why is there a blender there? Because they have a connection to it and they can use it for attacks. It's all silly, but it's enjoyable because I find it funny.
Do you need me to send you to the office? I'm going to send you to the principal's office.
What year is this?
You're going to the principal's office, Jeremy.
I only let Jock rant because I see that he put, why do they have Legos put the Lego Man down, man, in caps? So I was like, I knew he had a rant.
It didn't even like make sense. Like, what did that Lego do in that scene in 1318 of the episode?
He went to go grab the Howl's minions to go deal with the raid or that was gonna happen, quote unquote, from the foreign countries.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to them, but they're apparently been taken care of. He went to go grab his minions to go take care of that.
Okay, what does the Lego do?
He went to go grab them to let them know that Howl wanted him to go there.
The Lego.
Yes.
He went to go grab the Lego.
No, the Lego went to go grab Howl's minions to let them know that
No.
Howl wanted
Look
him.
at 1318. They're literally just sporting Legos. They just have a Lego. It's not a Lego man. It's just a Lego. They're just low-key carrying a Lego with them. It's not the Lego man. It's just a Lego. I don't understand why you're not on the same page with this. Why weren't you angry?
Because I find silly things in anime funny.
Like Legos, like uncalled for Legos.
Everything doesn't have to be serious, man.
Why does nothing have to be serious?
Brings down the mood and like brings something ridiculous in there, just like the whole coffee thing.
The coffee thing is okay.
Not really. Out of nowhere, he went to go grab a cup of coffee with him. The enemy of the entire show, by the way, just sitting there drinking coffee.
Look, it's one of the what are the names? The three women, the flowers or whatever.
I don't think they're Legos, man. I think there's a design choice. Well, things
is absolutely Legos.
the things on her hip, probably holding holding her skirt thing up.
They're all Legos. Look at them, Game Hunter.
I'm looking, but it's like at the same time, I think they're just holding up her skirt thing, and whatever they're doing over her on her arm.
Legos. And it's not just her. The black one on the left of it is wearing Legos too.
You know what those are? They're probably just like it's like with Hal's gauntlet thing. That is not a Lego. It's just it's a design choice. They look like Legos, but they're not Legos.
It's a Lego. I have a 4-year-old. It's a Lego. I have deep, intimate foot knowledge with these things.
It's not a Lego. It's probably a design choice. So what are you saying is that if anybody puts a circle on the front of their, the 2 circles at the front of their fist gauntlet thing, it's a Lego?
I have a surgical connection with these things as a parent. Can't you just like tweet those pictures out I sent you or something and put up a poll or something and ask your audience if they're Legos or not? Straw poll it. Is there enough people in the chat to straw poll it?
No, it's only one viewer.
There's one viewer. Well then perfect. Ask your one viewer. Post those up in the chat. Ask your one viewer if that's a Lego. Both of them. But make sure you put all the pictures up. I will go with whatever they say.
Those are too small to be a Lego, man. I'm just like you know, maybe with the blue girl, but the one on the black one on the black girl, that is way too small to be a Lego. There's no way that could be going on anything constructive.
I trust your viewer.
What is this going on?
If you're trying to weasel out of this because you don't trust your viewer, I understand. I could see why you wouldn't trust your viewer when you're wrong. But if you trust your viewer, you will put this straw poll up to your viewer, and your viewer will confirm that indeed it is a Lego. Is your viewer like chatting?
No, they haven't actually said anything for a while.
We need them. They're the hero that Gotham needs.
I can't even post that image into chat, at least through OBS.
Can't you just like, I mean, they're stills and they're not that copyrighted. Can't you just throw it on the still?
No, I'm saying I can't even paste it into the meshes thing. It won't let me. It's legitimately not letting me. Maybe OBS won't let me, but it's not. Maybe I could go to Twitch directly, but I just don't want to like have my audio playing 3 times over in recession, because that'll
And I
blow
have
up my
access
ears.
to. I just silenced myself. I tried to put the link in the chat for people, and now I'm silenced for 5 minutes. Moderator deleted my message. I was gonna right click and then just post the links in the chat for people.
Uh,
You just know you're wrong. It's okay to be wrong, Jeremy.
Shoot, that's not what I wanted to do.
It's not very useful if I can't also post the link.
Are you still in the chat thing?
Yeah,
I don't even see you there.
I'm here. But if I post the link, I'm just going to get banned again, so I don't see why this is helpful.
I mean, I could make you not a mod, but a VIP.
Whatever. Or
That
you
would.
can just post the link yourself.
Oh, I can't do it here. Shoot, take it, OBS.
Here, I
You're not.
sent you a
You're
whisper
not.
of the link.
You're not useful at all. OBS.
I sent you a whisper of the link. There you go. That's the little one. Let me send you a whisper of the big one. Or can you just do it from Discord yourself without my help?
I can't post things from for whatever reason into
You just
the
posted
chat.
the other link.
Well, I was directly on the
Here's the other one.
Twitch itself. All I'm getting is you sound like you say you put 2 circles on anything on any like rectangular image, you get a Lego, and like that's not right.
Why would they not be Legos? Why would the animators have Legos be an ongoing major theme in this? Introduce the
It's
Lego
not a
man.
theme. It's just the Lego man you have a problem with.
No, because he said that Hal made them, and we've seen Legos in other episodes already. I really want someone to tell us. Well, we can move on because they'll have that in the chat if they come in. Who is Ren's sister in 1408?
The green hair girl, Jun Tao. Jun Tao. That was her. We saw her in episode 2.
Jun Tao?
Yeah, that tall girl with the green hair.
Okay, that's right. I do know that.
She was literally the second. She was literally like this first, like I guess, like new character in episode 2 we saw.
Yes, you're correct. I'm sorry.
She's doing the zombie. I'm sorry. I just had to say that. She's doing the zombie.
So earlier when you were acting clueless, is it because I was ahead of myself with Lyserg fighting the big green demon that was representing himself? Is that why you were acting clueless about it? Because I was so far ahead of myself with it.
I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. I mean, we already talked about this. I don't know, like, if I was acting clueless or not. If I was, I apologize.
Oh,
Because I was talking about this. I mean, like, this big portion here we got right here about, him growing his arm and whatnot.
yeah.
If it was acting clueless, maybe it was because we were just too far on the notes. I was trying to, like, go in the order of your notes here, but I mean, if you don't want to go in the order of your notes, that is totally fine.
That's
I
alright.
already answered the Egyptian dude's question.
And then he brought a morphine and a car to make a new oversoul. Marco seemed to know what was going on. I didn't know if that meant that he was dying, or if he was right on the edge between the world and the afterlife, or if he was like somehow communing with Lyserg or watching over him. That was a little bit ambiguous to me.
I honestly didn't pick up on that. Maybe he was seeing Lyserg in trouble.
He had a little whisper moment at 1715 where he was like whispering to him as he got morphine, and that was interesting to me.
You know what that probably is? Because Lyserg's still dead, and he wanted Tomo to revive his body. I don't think he really knows what's going on. Maybe he has some clue that maybe Lyserg's in trouble, but maybe that was just like him trying to be a responsible adult. Maybe I have no idea. He could be just.
Responsible adult.
It
Okay.
could have been. It could just be maybe he knows what's going on there. Who knows? I don't know. I'm being legitimately honestly, just like I honestly was confused by that because like to Lyserg, I feel like maybe a part of it is just that he wanted to go and revive him too.
Okay. Um, I really like Lyserg's whole like Europe, London, like Europe kind of like England kind of thing that he does. Um, I just really enjoy that. I like that because like the extension of that is that they actually put him in London. Um,
Where
I'm
his
really
hell
curious
is
to
literally London is essentially his hell is where his parents died.
yeah, but I still enjoy that like he's that little taste of London like in this series. Like they don't do a lot with like American cultures in this, and I just enjoyed that like he's like that little piece of that in this world. And for what it's worth. Um
Is London American? I thought London was British.
well, I'm sorry, like European culture. Like there's not a lot of European culture in general. And he's like you don't see any Polish or Swiss or Armenia or Kazakhstan or Russian or like or anything. Like there's no Italians or Spanish or anything like that. So he represents pretty much all of Europe so far as I can tell.
That makes sense. I get what you're saying. I was just trying to think. I was like, am I wrong? I mean, you're the professor here.
No, it's just I think it's nice that we have at least some representation of that entire section of the world.
No, you're not wrong. I guess after that, I did a little bit of research, not too much, into the whole 674 thing. Because in here, in your next set of notes, you really are concerned by this number. I don't.
674.1.
What? You only have 67.
674.1 is what's painted on it. The point one is what made me think it's got to be something. It's
You,
at
you only
18
you only
minutes into the
have
episode.
651 on here.
Where did you
Oh,
see that?
674. Okay, I see that one. Down here on Shaman King 44, you have 651 on the end, but
No,
up
this
here,
one's 674.1.
well, I looked at 674. As far as the point one, let me just go back real quick and put that in there. Antarctic meteorites. What the heck? See
If I
ships.
get to it before you, I'll screen capture it for Discord.
Oh, well, all I have here when I typed in 670 was ship 674. Um, all I got here, and this is a huge stretch. There's a ship that got decommissioned in the Navy. Um, and the thing I bring it up is because it was involved in the Pearl Harbor stuff. Uh, and I say this because, like, well, it's on an island. There's a bunch of ships around on an island. It's possible maybe just a very rough. It's just a rough reference because Japan was the country that secretly attacked America down there. So, maybe
When I
that's
looked it up,
that's all I could pull from anything I said.
when I looked up 674.1, I found this really, really, really um really obscure quote about the resurrection of Christ with GC in it. And GC was like the grand commandment. And it was a revelations thing. And GC 674.1 was the revelation, was like the grand commandment, which was connected to the resurrection of Christ and revelations when he comes back. The rebirth of Christ when Christ was reborn and comes back, and revelations. But that saying that, like, it followed that lead for like forever, and I couldn't get any more from it. And it just seemed like such a dry well that I think I had the links in here, and I even pulled the links out, and I was just like, forget it. But that was the best I could do. Is I kept finding this reference in this one academic article to 674.1 GC, the Grand Commandment, and it was in Revelations, and it was like a reference to Jesus's rebirth and like recoming, the resurrection of Christ. And I was like, oh, that's so cool because resurrection, and that's exactly like, it's like one of the biggest resurrections in all of, religion and mythology. But I couldn't find anything else about it. So I didn't know what to do with that.
I think it's just rather know that was put in there for any real reason, because not everything's gonna have a purpose.
Here's the article. I'll send you an article for it, but it no, I feel like it had a purpose. I just don't know if I was smart enough for this one. If you
I
look
think
in here, you'll see.
maybe what I found about the ship makes a lot, because this looks like the ship that I found actually.
Because listen to this. You know how they called him the God of Fire when they shot that weapon down?
Mm-hmm.
The quote that they say here when they're quoting GC 674.1 is the hellfire that will destroy the wicked will also purify the earth so that the new heaven and new earth, the promised conquered, recaptured territory of the righteous will be established. Tell me that doesn't sound exactly like what the X-Laws would be talking about.
Yeah, I hear I hear the similarity, but at the same time, that ship looks like the ship that I found that apparently got decommissioned.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it could just be a very like this could just be and it'd be it'd be really random out of place reference to Pearl Harbor, but because like there is a ship that has these numbers on it, well, except for the point one. 'Cause I cannot
Yeah.
find a ship with point one on it. The only thing I also found at 674.1 was talking about the Constitution and the student loans thing, which was like that's kind of odd.
Yeah. I found a bunch of that stuff. And then I even looked up the Dewey Decimal System to see if the Dewey Decimal System 674.1 was like something in the Dewey Decimal System, because that what sounds like a Dewey Decimal System number, but all it references in the Dewey Decimal System is wood, and it just doesn't do anything. I was like, oh, maybe like if you went into a library and you looked up 674.1 in the Dewey Decimal System in the shells, it would mean something significant, but it doesn't.
Because also there's a ship that got decommissioned that was a part of Pearl Harbor, and this looks eerily similar to that ship that I saw, and it's very weird. But it might just be like one of those out of place things that maybe it was a bunch of things that's referencing all at once.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know. It could be a play on that. It was really bugging me though, because then we saw that thing later on that was like a number that wasn't that much different. So I didn't know if there was something there. Else it just drove me nuts. So the closest I got was this reference here with the fire that would destroy the wicked, because like they had that reference. They had the fire that destroyed the wicked and would purify the land, so that the righteous could be um, righteous could be reestablished. Sounds extremely X-Laws, and the fact that it's in Revelations where Jesus resurrects sounds pretty close to right, but it's I can't drive it home. Like I can't home run that, but it's the closest I could get to getting that all over the top. I think there's something to that maybe, but I couldn't tell you exactly what.
I still think it doesn't really mean too much of anything, because not everything and every. I mean, some things you might think have a meaning. I don't think this is one of those situations.
Why would they paint 674.1
They put a
on
lot of numbers
the
everywhere,
side of the
like it.
battleship? Like I even like started wondering. I'm like, is it backwards? Like, can I mirror image this? Is it upside down because of the weird way the letter 6 looks in this? Like I started wondering if that 6 was like some different symbol, if that was in code, since 7, 4, and 1 look all like so normal. Like I was really ripping that apart, trying to figure out what the hell is going on with that, because 7, 4, and 1 look like they don't belong with the 6.
I just put B74.1 and I'm getting just cars. Like a
Well,
roadster.
I mean, that also kind of fits, doesn't it?
It's a ship though. I mean, this is
You know what I mean, because of the Marco, but
I don't think they have any connection. I mean, who knows if they have connection to Marco or not? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'd say he doesn't because like Marco's like a dealership connoisseur. He wants to sell you a brand new car. Okay,
I would love to know what was going on with that. There's got to be something going on with that. Like I said, because later on in the next episode, they mention 651 as what the coffee came to, and that seemed like a tease too.
I don't know, man. That's just like yen money. Well, I know you would convert it over, but still.
Why has 651 yen? I don't know. It just
Because they just think they could have chosen anything else. You'd still be wondering what's the significance of that number.
it made me mad. It made me mad, Jeremy.
I can hear it. I'm just saying from my experience of watching the anime that I've watched, not everything has a meaning. Now I'm not saying it doesn't, but like so far, if you couldn't find anything concrete or something you could latch to that you felt 100% positive about, to me that tells me that there must be nothing to it. It's just a number that they decided to use because like they could, like I said before, like the only other thing I could think that I found in my research is that maybe they're referencing Pearl Harbor, but again, that's such a long-winded stretch because, like, I mean, the only connection is there's a ship coming up on an island that's by itself. Um, it's possible that it could be Pearl Harbor reference. Who knows? And I laugh at the Pearl Harbor thing. I'm laughing at the fact that maybe they're referencing it somehow. I had no idea.
I think there's someone out there that's smarter than us that would know what that means.
Still don't think it means anything. And I would put it in a questionnaire, but nobody says to answer those things, so I kind of just stopped.
Yeah.
Um,
I wish we could crowdsource this because I would love to know, and I bet there's someone out there that could decrypt that and figure out what it means. It makes me so mad. Meanwhile, while we're doing this, I'm looking up ASCII to see if there's like an ASCII symbol that looks like that 6B thing.
While he's doing that, we're coming up to the end of the episode, at least for 44. Wait, 43. Shoot, sorry, jumped ahead. I guess we already talked about this too. That peyote ends up doing a mass mission suicide. Mainly, he does this because he says that he's come to realization that Hao doesn't care about anybody. Uh, he comes to realization that it looks like Hao is just going to use them to fuel his spirit of fire, which actually he kind of does in the next episode. Well, he tries to anyway. Essentially, peyote kills everybody, but the spirits of Team Flower are still around. At first, I couldn't tell they were dead or not because they looked normal at first, but we found out they're actually dead. And well, that's what happens with this episode. They're running towards How to figure out what's going on, while Anna is still dealing with How on her own terms. This also is Sarah is holding her own against How. Who the heck is Sarah?
Anna. Sorry. Anna seemed like she was really holding her own against How, and like How just seemed super curious. He seemed like he was not aware of her. He was like, "Why can't I read you? What's your story? Tell me more about you." And she was like, "Eat a dick." And he like really wanted to know more about what she was all about. He's like, she seemed like an enigma to him, and he really, really wanted to deconstruct what this was all about. And she was like very resistant to that. And then he would go back and forth between that and being like, "Oh, hello, my wife," and she was like,
Well, he's not calling her his wife. He's just saying that you will be my bride. Is basically in creepy non-context is what he's doing.
right. But I mean, just like at first glance, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna be my bride," and she's like, "I hate you," and
Well, I mean, he's essentially Yo, or Yo's older brother. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's probably what some of that is about. It's just that he's certain that 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 she's gonna probably end up with him. I guess I have no idea. Because with the context that he's been leading on, he's like he's just gonna eat Yo when he's at full strength. What he's been doing for the most part is like eating things that are stronger, so he can use the Furyoku to burn, so he can keep control of the spirit of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Guess with that, we have episode with Shaman King episode 44. Speak slowly. I was not doing any of that last review. We can just come back to Anna and how, well, as I said before, let's continue the conversation there. He seems to be, he seems to either be curious about like why she's resisting him. I would say, funnily enough, as this was happening, and Anna was like very, I guess, very afraid for her life or whatever. It seems kind of interesting too that for the first time in I guess the entire series, well, before when she first met Yo, while she was holding off How there, she seemed really frail, like like a damsel in distress type of situation where she needed help but she didn't know who to ask, or she was afraid of dying. It seemed kind of like seemed like out of her element there. She seemed like legitimately afraid for her life. And then she even mentions too that go get it, Yo, before I had to do something, and I'm not sure what that meant.
Go get Yo before I had to do something.
Yeah, it seemed like I think she was one of these. She sent somebody to go after Yo because she was afraid. Because even How mentions the fact that
My impression of that was that she was going to unleash her full power and let go, and that Hal was being sort of like Perfect Cell here and being like, "Oh, perfect," threaten me with a good time, and he was like interested in seeing this power, so he was trying to goad her into doing it, and she's like, "Look, if I have to release the power in the name of stopping him, I will, but I'd really like to not do it." And so she was sort of like saying, "Get him before like that's my last resort."
But even before that, I mean, well, even after that, though, it seemed like before Yo had showed up to save her, she seemed very frail for whatever reason. At least to me, it didn't seem like she was gonna like be able to hold him off for much longer. To me, she seemed like she was in a lot of trouble there for the first time in the entire series. Because for the most part, she had not been in anything she couldn't take care of herself, which is still was still a shock. Because like she hadn't, for the first time in the entire series, it looked like she was in trouble. But after that, we bring up like the elephant in the room that apparently we cut away only to come back to find out that Yo and How are having coffee. So like this continues this really weird thing with Yo and How meeting and just something stupid happening.
Yeah, I liked the coffee scene, despite the fact that it seemed random. I liked the coffee scene.
I like the coffee scene in the concept that we found out a little bit more about How, and we now know that he has a human side. I don't like the coffee scene and the concept that they were in the middle of a fight. Yo was really cool, and now we're finding out that he's just drinking coffee with him.
It's the most Yo thing in the world for him to actually do that, though.
I still hate it.
That's why it's happening. That's like exactly why it's a thing.
I get it. I still hate it.
But it's a much more productive fight. Yo would have never defeated Hao. Ever.
I still hate it.
Now you're being difficult.
All I'm saying is like it's just that it, it's something that he would do. I don't enjoy it because it just stops. Like the show has a habit of putting Yo and Hao in the same room, but instead of letting the fight play out, they cut away from it. Either because Yo wants to go someplace else or Hao wants to leave. This situation, Yo wanted to have a cup of coffee with him because he wanted to see what he was like, and because he's his older brother. Like Hao's his older brother. It's like, is this really necessary?
But
Like,
it
I
kind
mean,
of was.
we already know the type of person he is. The guy's a dick. I mean, even how it goes the extra mile to just like tell him well during this entire coffee break that I know what you're doing. It ain't gonna work. I can read your mind. It's like to me, it didn't serve any purpose other than just showing us that he's still gonna try to befriend him. It even goes out of the way during the fight with during in the middle of the fight with Ren's team and his team that like he says that Hao has no friends and like and then Mats says that that's not what he meant. He's meant that he's gonna try saving Hao. It's like I had a feeling this is what's gonna happen, but I don't. To me, we didn't need the coffee break for that.
It's a big plot device, though, because like we find out a lot of stuff about what's going on.
No, not really. We still thought it a hell's a dick.
We don't like Yo, like gives up his whole mind to like Hao like sits there and learns everything there is to know about Yo.
It was like he was not gonna find out that before. Like I'm pretty sure that entire scene's gonna mean something later. I just like to me it's so out of place and random, and it's just that it broke the tension, which is all we would have is what seems to always happen when Yo and Hao are in the same room together. Like to me, it's like if you're not gonna have them fight, stop teasing me with the fight then. Like I would much prefer it if they just ended up in the same room because like every time it seems like there's gonna be a fight between them two. I get it, Yo's not gonna be able to defeat him, but still, stop putting him in the same room then, because you're teasing me with a fight that's never gonna happen. Like, what's the point of them being in the same room if all they're gonna do is break away from the tension?
So we can learn Ultra Instinct and then perfect it over the next few encounters.
You're still teasing me with a fight that's not gonna happen, and I don't enjoy that.
But they are having a fight. It's just a cerebral one. Like Yo and Ren, like are having a different type of battle here, and Yo still has almost the same level of disadvantage because it's a mental battle, where Ren is just like reading his mind and saying like, you know, like I do care, I do have feelings, and it does bother me that everybody hates me, and I am all alone, and things like that. And he's actually really cleverly playing on Yo's weaknesses, where Yo is like, oh, well, maybe I should try to change him instead of fighting him. And at the same time, he's like, you know, I'm just going to, like, wait until you know what I'm going to do, right? And Yo is like, you're going to wait until I'm strong and stop getting strong, and then you're going to come kill me. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to come absorb you and your soul as soon as you stop getting strong. And I just want you to be as strong as possible before I absorb you. And he's like, neat. And like they get into this whole thing, but like they lay bare like that they understand each other's whole strategy. But I still feel like Hao learned more about Yo than Yo learned about Hao. And I feel like the amount that Yo learned about Hao was like very toxic, like because now he's kind of contaminated by the fact that he's like, oh, this guy's got real feelings, and like I've got to be all Yo about it now and like try to change him and fix him like I do with everybody else, because starting back at like episode 1 or 2 of the entire series, I said, oh, like all shamans are good no matter what. And that's been the belief that he's held on to, and he's successfully proven it almost across the board right now. Like, if you can change Marco, you can change almost anybody, let's face it. But how is, like, I don't know, I guess it's the ultimate challenge. So it's something that the whole series can build up to and everything, but at the same time, Hao sees that as his one weakness. Like, he's fearless, he's like has unlimited potential, he can be defeated, but the biggest way to, I mean, by specifically by him, but like the biggest weakness his personality has is his willingness to believe in others. And and you see that in Hell when the guy's like, when he's fighting the demons, and the demons are like, "I'm sorry, I'll change," and he's like, "Oh, okay," and he smiles friendly, and then like the demons are like, "Ha ha, I didn't mean it," and he's like, "Oh, good." He goes, "Because that would have made things complicated for me." And he goes back to fighting them, and then he can, like, he doesn't have to hold back, and he wipes them all out. But the second, like, the demon was like, "I'm going to," you know what I mean, "I'm going to change," and I give up. Then he was like, "Oh, okay, well then I'm just going to stop fighting you now and let you go." And it was an immediate, like, it was like an immediate weakness, like, revealed.
I
And if
feel
the
like you
demon had
could have
stuck with
still.
it, like, he could have been like a real threat.
I feel like you still could have had the coffee scene. Just don't have them meet in the battlefield. Like maybe Yo was in a coffee scene having a mental crisis, and then Hal walks in. Because Hal isn't afraid to walk in on anybody. I just like to me like they have Yo swoop in to save his girlfriend, and then they are drinking coffee.
We've seen that with other stuff too, though. Like they were having coffee with, uh, what is it, Luciste?
Yeah, but the tension, at least for me, wasn't so high that like well, if those two are in the same room, there's gonna be a throwdown happening. Every time it happens, something stupid. Well, I mean that's stupid. Something just random happens that just like I don't like that they're teasing me with this fight that's not gonna happen. Now it's gonna happen in the future. I just like the fact that they keep showing up in the same room, and to me it seems pointless. Like
Well,
that
there
whole
was a huge
that
conflict point right at the end, though.
the whole coffee scene could have easily happened like just like on its own without like them meeting on the battlefield. They
Yeah,
could.
but there was a huge conflict right at the end where everybody really threw down.
Well, that's the tournament, not
No,
how
no,
and
no,
like
no,
Yo
no.
in
I'm
the
talking
same.
about that episode. You didn't miss. You missed it. How could you miss it?
Go to the coffee scene real quick.
How didn't pay for his coffee?
I mean, he just put the fear in that guy who was obviously possessed by Yo's secondary spirit, well,
Yeah.
ancestor.
How didn't pay for the coffee? And then he said he was going to pay for Yo's coffee, and he lied. He said it was his treat, but he lied. And then Yo had to pay for Hao's coffee.
That was just another instance
So
of Hal being a
who's the
dick.
winner? Who's the winner of this little encounter now?
Nobody. That's just Hal being a dick.
Yeah, Hao won. He made Yo pay for his coffee, but he still got credit for paying for Yo's coffee.
I'm just still like, to stop putting them in the same room, at least on the battlefield. If you want to have them talking in the room, that's fine. Just stop putting them in the battlefield and having them leave immediately.
Yeah.
Every time, and it always ends with Hal saying, "I gotta go take a bath." Then now we just have this scene of Hal in a bathtub, like, well, in an onsen, but still, like, this is like every time he seems to meet Yo, he needs to go bathe. And I don't even want to get into the context of that. Ugh. It's just, to me, it's like stop putting them on the battlefield and having something random happen. Just like it's like to me, it's like what's the point? You wasted animation budget there. You could have used it somewhere else.
Yeah.
To me, it just didn't seem like it. To me, there was no point of them being on the battlefield. Like okay, maybe Yo saved his girlfriend, yeah, but Anna didn't. Anna still is the same as she's always been. I don't think she's gonna change and suddenly strip for Yo and when they're by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, the scene was cool. I wish they'd stop like building up to this fight that's not gonna happen. They're just building up to this fight that's not
Yeah,
gonna happen.
I
What?
agree with you that the build up was a tease and that they didn't need to do the build up, but I like that we're having a little plot build up where Yo and Hell actually get to have a conversation.
Yeah, I don't
And
have a problem with them talking. I just don't like the fact that we were on the field and then
for
to the
me, this
talking.
was a comic relief that I was okay with because I didn't actually expect this to be a big showdown. I just maybe I'm being a little too meta about the episode, but I was like, whatever. Like we have like 6 episodes left. They're
I
not
like how
wrapping it up now
he's being
anyway.
meta about this, but mellow about this, but he won't be mellow about the Legos.
This is acceptable comic relief to me. They're like, oh, we've met at last! Ha ha! I'm here to save the day! Step aside, young lady!
I don't think it
I'll
was
save
comic
you
relief. I
from the
just think that was
evil.
just what?
Excuse me, I'm still dialoguing. I'll save you from the evil villain! And then they're just at a coffee shop and they're like, so, this coffee's kind of bitter. Oh, you're such a child. Anyone that knows coffee knows that this coffee is good coffee. You're just a child if you can't drink your coffee.
I'm sorry, I got whiplash from
This
that.
is okay comedy.
I
Walking
got
around with dumbass Legos attached. Ooh, look, I got a Lego communicator thing. Lego is the new fashion move. That is dumb.
I enjoyed that way more because it was supposed to be funny.
This was supposed to be funny. You don't think it was supposed to be funny that they ended up in a coffee shop?
No, it was annoying.
Of course it was.
How was that funny? What's funny about coffee?
It was like it's like the anime equivalent of a titty twister.
I think we all have a different opinion on that type of like.
It was like womp womp. The anime played a joke on you. And like, of
I just don't.
course.
This is like the third time they did it because every time when they end up on the battlefield together, something stupid happens and they end up stopping. Am I really truly expecting them to fight when those two meet? No, but I'm tired of them meeting on the field and nothing coming of it. All that happens is just like, okay, I'm not stronger. I'm not strong enough to fight him. Like, stop meeting on the battlefield then. Wait till you're in the tournament and then to lose there. Don't like don't set up my expectation that something cool is gonna happen here, and then take it away from me with a cup of coffee. That that all I learned is that wow, Hal was even more of a douche than I thought he was. That's all I took from that. It's like Hal was more of a douche than I thought he was.
I will take that I liked Hal a lot less as a character in these last couple episodes. I was like, he's not like as enjoyable a villain as I wanted him to be.
I feel like he'll probably get better as a villain, honestly, because I mean, right now the biggest problem is that he doesn't get a lot of screen time. When he's there, he's killing somebody, or in this case, having a cup of coffee with his other half.
Yeah, but like what I thought I was gonna get out of him as a villain, and then what I actually got out of him as a villain was I was just like, all right, so you're just gonna be kind of like cocky and mocky and, and sort of like annoyingly effeminate and like
I don't,
like
I don't find Hal effeminate.
oh come on, when he reads his mind he's like it's annoying, isn't it? And he tilts his head a little bit and his long hair locks like fall over his ear and he looks him in the eye.
I must be just used to like male characters having really long hair because I mean I could see that maybe they were going that direction, but it just didn't. I don't know. It just I could see what you're talking about, but at the same time, it's like I didn't really get that off the initial. I see what they're trying to do, but how doesn't like effeminate villains? They can be funny and really good, but he just didn't come off as an effeminate villain to me.
He's not extremely effeminate. He's just like annoyingly effeminate, in my opinion. Like,
Let's see, I didn't really find him effeminate though, not even in the normal sense of it. If I'm being literally honest, like I said, I might just be nullified to the whole male characters having long hair thing, because I think that's really what's doing it there. But because I've seen enough anime where male character's hair is just really long for no real reason other than just a design choice.
yeah.
And that's probably what it is, because I mean, he looks like, I mean, out of both of them, Hal looks the most like Yo's mother. Uh, the only thing he needs to put on his face is eyelashes and eyeliner and lipstick. I hope they don't do that. Like, but um,
All I'm saying is that he wasn't my favorite. He just kind of like he was just kind of mocking and a little bit childish, and I thought a little bit effeminate. And that's like the least of my gripes about it. I don't really care that he's effeminate, but he struck me as a little bit effeminate, and like the lure of him being like this fallen like hero and stuff like that kind of fell. Like I didn't get the fallen hero feeling from him. I just got the like, like I'm the best. Nobody can touch me. Oh, I'm reading your mind. I'm reading your mind, and just all that mockery. And oh, I know what you're trying
I
to do to
mean,
me
honestly,
now.
what you're
Does
saying
that
mixed.
bother you that I know what you're doing?
I
Oh,
mean,
I bet it does. Oh,
all
I
that
guess I
what I
wouldn't
get
know.
is the annoying older brother thing. That's what I got from him based on all that you just said. I get the annoying older brother thing.
Okay, well, annoying older brother, but then to his like one that he said was his future wife, and then it gets a little creepy and rapey, and like it's just like it's not what I think of as it's not what I think of when I think of a compelling villain. Like it's
I'm pretty sure a lot of his reasoning will come out like as we get closer to like the. Because I mean, like I said before,
yeah, but
he
we only
hasn't.
have like what 5 episodes left now? Six?
No, I think we maybe have 10.
44 Shaman King.
I think it was maybe at 60 episodes. I think we still got like maybe 10 to 20 more. They have 52 episodes scheduled to come out. So
8.
they use these last 8 to really bring out like what he's doing there.
I mean, I imagine so, since almost everybody else is dead.
Oh wow, this is gonna end next month.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, it's not. No, that's episode 49. Never mind.
Yeah,
So it's
well,
looking like
and
we're
then
looking at April. Oh wow, so it would have come full circle fully by April this year.
yeah, we'll be good.
So I suspect they're gonna go really hardcore with like how here. Um, that probably won't fix a lot of the issues, but I mean at the same time, yeah, I guess look at how we can move on from how and my complaining that they keep on blue balling me with the fight. But um, let's see here. After the coffee thing, well, we know about Team Flower. They lost Team Flower. Is the only like living, unliving thing from like Hal's minions right now. Well, besides Luke, Chris, and uh, the baby that's following him. I forgot her name.
Yeah.
So right now it's the only like the dead the spirits of of like Team Flower. Apparently Anna's gonna be working with them for some reason before she sends them off to the afterlife. So I wonder how that's gonna work out. Um
Luchist and
oh, Apache is her name. Okay.
yeah, Apache. I had it written down. I was just double checking. Luchis and Apache also happen to be the two that Hal actually likes. Because he mentioned that during coffee that those are the only two that he likes.
Hmm. Yeah, I picked up on that and I just thought it was weird. I also when he was talking before we move on from how I noticed when he's talking about he seems like he doesn't like people who have ulterior motives.
Yeah, and
That's
he
what I
didn't
was
get bothered when he didn't get bothered when Yo said that he didn't have any friends. He has a few other he has a few other minions. He has like the Pinocchio guy still, because you see that guy around the hot spring when he's taking a bath, and there was like another guy there, but I forget who.
But not really. I mean, he's gonna eat their soul when their soul says done.
The Lego dude lived. That was always nice.
Well, I
Really
mean,
glad that the
apparently, I guess
final.
apparently the Lego guy. Apparently, what I remember seeing, they said that he found him as a baby, so he raised Hal.
Mm-hmm.
Or was
And
it
he
that
said, "Here,
Hal
have my."
raised him? I had no idea.
Said,
I
"Here,
couldn't.
have my Legos." Since apparently I have like 9 freaking thousand of Legos everywhere, and I'm vaguely obsessed with Legos. Here, have some of my Legos.
I guess for we
You
have
like
another
Legos, right? Here, have
for
some more
have
Legos. Would you
for
like some Legos?
okay. First, Jack has another breakdown. We cut away from all that to well, we found out Light Circuit's still in hell trying to train. That's always fun. Um, uh, Ren and Yo's team getting. I guess the next round of the tournament's going to happen. I assume that we're underwater now. Um, it's Ren versus Yo. Ren declares that he's Vegeta. Great. Yo declares. I mean, like Ren declares he's Vegeta. Like with the whole, I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna become Shaman King. And what does it say with this fight? Seems kind of one-sided right now because like Ren's team seems to be truly like outclassing right now Ryu and Faust right now. Like he like pretty much like took off Hellhurl took off Ryu's arms. And I guess it was Ren that like stabbed Faust to the chest. Because Chocolate wasn't doing anything from the looks of it.
Yeah, they're being pretty savage on Yo's team, which doesn't make any sense to me. I guess it does make sense to me,
Well, they're in a
but I
tournament.
mean,
They got to be serious about it. They got to make it look convincing.
I get why Ren would be serious. Naruto, I didn't get 100%. And then Chocolove seems like maybe his heart's not in it quite as deeply as some of the others, and that made sense to me.
Right now, he's waiting for his spirit to come back because it's his spirit's with Lysa. That's the only reason that we know that Lysa's still trying to get through his own personal hell.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Like Lysa's taking the longest of all the people that died. I mean, like he's really working through his own personal demons. I think he's the only one who doesn't have a new Oversoul. I don't think about it. Everybody else seemed to got a new Oversoul except for him. Faust is no longer in a wheelchair? Wait.
I thought that was odd, and then I remembered that he's got that dog that like shields his legs so that he can walk. And then I
Is he
was like, oh
standing?
yeah, never mind.
I don't
He's
remember.
standing in that scene, yeah. But he has the dog that becomes his legs, remember? The bone dog?
Yeah, I need to go look because I wasn't paying attention to that. I thought he was still in the wheelchair. Oh, he is standing. Oh, that poor dog.
His bones just become his legs whenever he wants.
That poor dog. That poor dog. That guy is like that dog. That dog disappears. His entire life falls beneath him.
Well, I don't think he does it all the time because he's in the wheelchair otherwise. I think he just does it when he's ready to go.
I guess while the fight's happening, we also Yo starts commenting saying that he's gonna change how, and I'm like how are you gonna
No
do
pun
that?
intended. How are you going to change how? But that's what I think. That's the outcome of that's the outcome, in my opinion, of the coffee break is that it changed Yo's strategy. Now all of a sudden he's talking about changing him rather than defeating him, because before he was dead set on defeating him. He's like, I'm going to beat him, and the way we're going to beat him is ambush him when he's like in his sleep and things like that. And all of a sudden now he's like, I'm not going to ambush him in his sleep. I'm going to change him, and like that's brand new strategies talk. Things that go against everything that he said. Things that don't go against but are incompatible with other strategies that he's talked about so far, and he's just bringing them up now out of nowhere, it seems like, without having brought him up before. And it's something he brought up since he's met Hal, and I feel like Hal was manipulating him and getting these ideas in his head when they were sitting there, and he's like, like, I've got feelings too, and it hurt my feelings when I was betrayed, even though I could see what they were doing. It just seems like very convenient that he felt like that. He's like,
I
I knew
don't.
they were capable of it, but the fact that they followed through with it hurt my feelings. And then Yo was like, oh well, that's sad. And like to have that happen right with the demons before, being like, I'll change. And then he was like, oh okay, then I'm not gonna kill you. You know what I mean? Like it just seems too like he seems too easily manipulated, and we know that everybody else was manipulated too. A lot of the people that followed Hal earlier, like the flower team flower, like they were all genuinely hurt because they felt used and like manipulated by I'm sorry, by Hal. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening here, is that he's using the same strategy that he got on the other people that caused Peyote, for example, to commit suicide when he's like, oh my god, he doesn't care about me, and he committed suicide and took out the other people with him. I feel like that's what's happening here. It's just one more like stage of being stringing people along and manipulating them.
Again, I think we can end this podcast with the idea that Hal was a douche.
But he's manipulating Yo, and he's undermining his like motivation to defeat him. And it's gonna water down his attack if they ever do need to be in a fight.
I get that, but then again, at that point, it completely undermines the whole point of the coffee break.
The whole point of the coffee break was for them to talk, and like I said, they're doing a different type of battle in that coffee break, and I think Hal won it hands down. I think Yo confirmed some suspicions, and Hal learned a whole bunch of stuff.
I mean, either way, the fight, it looks like it's going in Ren's team's favor. Ren is trying to make sure that Yo can't think to be able to come out with it, because he realizes that if he were to have a plan, the plan would just go, would break, and he wouldn't have a way to defend. So it seems like, I will say, at this fight, it's like, I guess, coming to the climax and the episode ends on a cliffhanger. I thought it was really creepy that after like Yo found out that, that's another thing I found interesting too. That lightning strike that happened in the earlier fight with Ren was actual lightning. That's ridiculous. I didn't even think he could like manipulate. I didn't know he could conjure lightning like that. I mean, I guess it would make sense.
To be fair, it doesn't seem to be very good lightning, because Yo is like, hey, good shot, Ren, But
it's still an element that not many shamans can conjure to begin with. I mean, Horo can conjure ice, but I didn't even know like Ren could even conjure lightning.
Well, maybe that's the great spirit the god spirit that he's taken.
I don't know if he's got the god spirit though. I mean, I know there's a great spirit of thunder, but I don't know if he's got it. I know that was the point of the training, but it didn't seem like he got it.
Well, now it does.
Was there a great spirit of ice, or is this the great spirit of water?
Even if there's a great spirit of water, it could still be used for ice, right? Or he could not be using it yet.
I guess I just like feel like if they managed to get the spirit, they would have told us, or at least like, cause like Ren's lightning strike happened before he got the great spirit of thunder though, like before he died.
Well, that's how that'll be how Yo gets himself out of the situation. If he has a great spirit, like if he has a god spirit, then that's how he's going to get himself out of the situation. He probably has the best one.
I mean, based on how the great spirit of fire is the best one.
I mean, the best one that they don't have, because he turned to the demons and was like, all right, bring me to the boss.
Brushing through your notes real quick. Oh, we also learned that apparently Yo got purification. That's the skill he learned in Hell's the purification. Apparently it nullifies everything: spirit, energy, and for Furyoku and Ghost. It nullifies Furyoku and Ghost, which is interesting. How doesn't seem concerned.
That didn't make you feel like they had more than one type of energy? The fact that he had the ability to affect Furyoko and Ghosts, and they still had some energy that could penetrate through that? didn't make you feel like there's multiple types of energies going on here?
I went to the Shaman King wiki and they don't bring it up. Shaman King's been around for years too, so if there was a different type of energy, it would have been in there.
I feel like this comes up a lot. We're not understanding something fundamental to this series.
It's not like that attack disrupts Furyoku or mana is what the English people is what it's called translated to English over here. And then we got Ray Yoku, which is the energy the spirits have. Furyoku and Ray Yoku get canceled out from whatever he's done. Maybe there's a third energy. I had no idea. But it doesn't make any sense because I don't know where it's coming from. Because only humans can make shamans can only make Furyoku, and the spirits can make Ryoku. There's nothing else in this world that we've seen that they haven't just. I mean, there's maybe a different type of spirit they haven't introduced either. I have no idea.
I mean, we're missing one very obvious type of energy.
And what's that?
The power of a Lego maniac.
We're gonna end this podcast off here with the fact that his favorite character, Lego Man, is somehow still alive.
No.
Somehow Lego Man survived, and the Tao family and the Asakura family are meeting together to figure out what they're gonna do about Asakura. How, but apparently somebody managed to capture Lego Man, Jock's favorite character.
Why did it have to be him? Why couldn't he die?
He was almost dead.
Other than like the straight up football helmet guy, like this is probably the most like awful character ever in any anime.
I guess we're gonna end it here before we Jock gets into our rant.
Great.
The final scene is first Yo getting shocked, and I thought it was really creepy because you could just hear his voice coming out of the skeleton. I thought that was a really creepy thing. I just want to end off on that note. It was probably the creepiest thing I've seen Shaman King do at this point. I guess till next. Actually, I guess we'll be recording the next episode of the podcast in March. We'll see you guys then, and I guess we'll be talking about My Hero Academia at some point too, because I think it's coming out next month. I want to say. Either that or it's coming out in April. I have no idea. I'm also making hand gestures in the air like this is something people can see. I'm still doing it.
I can see
it. See you guys next time. Thank you for watching or listening. Bye.